Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Welcome back to another great week of Amplified Nevada Native Youth. And so I'll introduce myself a little later, but yeah, welcome back to all our regular guests that we have, and welcome back to our new guest that we have watching with us tonight. So tonight we have another amazing episode for you. We have Fort Lewis College, which is located in Durango, Colorado. And I know there's a lot of natives that do go to this school, which is one reason why we wanted to highlight it. So I'm hopeful, or I hope that you all appreciate this episode. I hope you all gain a lot of information from this episode. But if you want to look at our past episodes, feel free to go on our YouTube page, go on our social media, share our posts, share this post with anybody you think may be interested in Fort Lewis or even just college ships in general. And so, yeah, next week we're going to be hosting Northwestern Indian College. And then the week after that, we're going to be hosting Superman. So look out for all those episodes. Look out for our social media posts, share them. And yeah, so we should be good to go for this week and next week. But first, so we'll get into the introductions right now, and I'll introduce myself and my co-host first. And so my name is Avery Wyatt. I'm a student at the University of Nevada, Reno. I am a senior studying public health and political science, and I love Native Ed too. So that's why I'm working in Native Ed right now. And my co-host is Ferdina Romero. She's the education program professional for Indian education in Nevada and for the Nevada Department of Education. So Ferdina, would you like to introduce yourself a little bit?
Hi, welcome back to another evening with the Amplified Nevada Native Youth. We're excited that we're highlighting the Fort Lewis College tonight, and our student is going to be telling us all about her school and her experiences. You know, one of the facts that I kind of learned about Fort Lewis while kind of doing a little research was it was actually a federal off-reservation boarding school after it was an Army post in the 1890s. So it's exciting to hear the history as well as the information that's going to be provided for you tonight. And as Avery said, I'm Ferdina Jai Romero with the Nevada Department of Education and a Southern Paiute woman. Back to you, Avery. Avery, you're on mute.
Oh my gosh, that's my first time. So my tribal affiliations, I'm a Washoe and Paiute too, or as CNN likes to call us, we are something else. And so, so welcome back everybody for coming. And so I'd like to introduce our guest that we have for today. So Raquel, her name is Raquel Thomas. Raquel is a senior at Fort Lewis College. She's Paiute Shoshone, an enrolled member at the Reno Sparks Indian Colony. And so Raquel, would you like to introduce yourself a little bit?
Yeah. Hi, I'm Raquel Thomas. I'm Paiute and Shoshone. I'm a member of the Reno Sparks Indian Colony. And this is my fourth and final year at Fort Lewis. I'm pretty excited. My major is Native American and Indigenous Studies with a minor in Criminology and Forensic Studies. So it's a pretty interesting combination that I'm trying to work with.
Yeah, cool. That sounds like a super, like, I've never really heard that combo. So yeah, that you're already interesting. So right now we actually have a video from Fort Lewis and we'd like to present it to everybody who's watching. And so yeah, you enjoyed this little video about the background of Fort Lewis.
The Fort Lewis College campus is nestled atop a low mesa in the Animas Valley, a verdant arm of the mighty San Juan Mountains of southwestern Colorado. public college, rural high school, Indian boarding school, military post. Only a handful of institutions, public or private, have gone through so many stages of history. Yet FLC's most profound roots run even deeper. Both current FLC campuses rest on the Southern Ute Indian tribe's ancient homeland. This inceptive connection has shaped the school's rich historical narrative over its entire existence.
The whole entire state of what is now known as Colorado was the homeland of the Utes, of the 7 bands that traveled throughout the mountain areas and through the San Juans, Winooties, the old people, the Compadre, White River, Uintas, and the Yampas. Culture and spiritual values, those are the strength of our people.
The name Fort Lewis is derived from a U.S. Army post established in Pagosa Springs, Colorado, in 1878. Fort Lewis relocated to Hesperus, Colorado in 1880 for another decade before it was decommissioned. Fort Lewis operated as an Indian boarding school until 1910. In 1911, Fort Lewis's 6,000 acres were deeded to the state of Colorado in an agreement that stated the land be held and maintained as an institute of learning, to which Indian students would be admitted free of tuition in perpetuity. FLC thus began as a rural high school, but would not stay one for long. In the 1930s, Fort Lewis High School expanded into a 2-year college, and in 1948 evolved into an agricultural and mechanical college called Fort Lewis A&M.
We wanted to be fashionable, and so we started some of our own. And one of them was the flannel plaid shirts with men's shirts, so they hung down halfway to our knees. And then we thought, to dress it up more, we also had white ones that we wore with bow neckties. And also wearing our bobby socks of different colors on each foot.
FLC moved to its main campus in Durango in 1956 and became a 4-year institution, awarding the first baccalaureate degrees in 1964, the same year that it dropped the A&M from its name. As FLC changed form over the decades, the mandate of educational equality remained core to its mission. It became one of the first 4-year colleges to grant a tuition-free education to members of federally recognized tribes and nations, which today make up more than a third of its enrollment, joining a majority student population identifying as people of color. This array of remarkable heritages and perspectives make a commitment to diversity central to the heart of the college. After more than a century of adaptation and growth, FLC is further defined by academic and philosophical connections to the region's spectacular landscapes, bolstered by an invested faculty, and honed through its commitment to real-world experience and hands-on learning. It is into this rich history that today's students are adding their own chapters. We can't wait to see how they will sculpt the future of Fort Lewis College.
Cool. I didn't know any of that about Fort Lewis, honestly. So yeah, thanks Dina for sharing that video with us. But so yeah, we'll hop right into the question session, Raquel, and we hope to hear a lot from you. But so my first question for you is, why did you choose Fort Lewis in the first place? Like, what was it about Fort Lewis that attracted you?
So I first heard about Fort Lewis from a college search. So I can't remember when. It was the summer before my senior year of high school. I did an internship with the Reno Sparks Indian Colony Education Program. So before we actually start working in places that they they put us to like get more experience within the tribal system. They have us do like they had us do these sorts of, I guess, workshops you would call it, and they had us like look up colleges, and I just searched tribal colleges or universities, and Fort Lewis was one of the ones that came up, and I thought it was interesting because of the location. Like it wasn't in a big city, and that's kind of like where I wanted to go to school. So I pressed on the website and I saw how there was the tuition waiver. So I was like, oh my God, that's perfect. Like I don't have a lot of money. So yeah.
Man, and the landscape is beautiful.
Yeah. And I saw the pictures.
When he was doing the rock climbing, I was like, wow. I went through there once. It's probably a long time ago.
Yeah, no, it looks super amazing. I think I posted this week the landscape on our social media, and yeah, it looks like basically like it's like I'm trying to think of a similar like environment. It's almost like it's like a college like right in between like it's almost like a college in Tahoe, but like without the lake. Yeah, so it looks really cool.
Yeah, there's a lake nearby, but it's not as big as Tahoe.
Yeah, a little tiny lake.
Yeah.
But so do you remember the process of applying the Feather River? Was it, or not Feather River, Fort Lewis, my bad.
It feels like that was so long ago.
Yeah. Well, if you can't remember, do you remember like any like struggles you had, or like did you have any resources that helped you out with the application process?
So I mainly had my mom. So she, like, I was talking to her about like going away for college, like, because of course she helps me with my FAFSA. So I asked her like, what's the furthest away I can go? And she said Colorado. So I looked for colleges in Colorado.
Yeah.
I found Fort Lewis.
Yeah, you lucked out too, because you mentioned the tuition waiver, and that's honestly so helpful for anybody. Because even like we've had smaller colleges in the past too, and even like community colleges you have to pay for. So just having a tuition waiver for a 4-year is amazing. Yeah. So for any students out there, take advantage of that. Go to Fort Lewis. I almost said Feather River again.
So what is it? What do you do? What do you pay for? Like when you go to school there?
So for me, I pay for housing and my student fees, and books, like those are on your own. So of course I pay for those. Don't really pay for anything else. And I live here in the apartments that they have on campus, so I don't have to get a meal plan. Otherwise, that would be another $1,000 or $2,000. So yeah,
that still helps
it's included in your housing. The meal plan is included in your housing.
Well, it's different here. There's 2 apartment complexes that are on campus. One of them is called Mears. You live in the apartment and you only have one roommate, but you both get your own room, and you get the kitchen, a little storage closet, a bathroom, and like a little living room. And then the one that I live in right now, I live in Centennial, so it's a little like in the same area, but I have to share a room with others. And you can choose who you want to live with, or you can just say whoever is fine. But I'm living with my friends that I've known since my freshman and sophomore year.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah,
so, cool. We kind of saw in the video, what is it like to be a native in Durango, Colorado?
Right.
And in your school?
Yeah, it's a little hard right now with like the elections, and like here, there's a lot of Trump supporters, and I don't know if you guys have seen like an article or anything, but during one of the marches that was down on Main Street, they were marching on Indigenous Peoples Day, and then there were Trump supporters and like Make America Great Again, like taunting the march, the people that were marching. So it's a little hard. I wasn't here for that. I was back in Nevada, but like it's kind of, I don't know, like I experience like racism almost every day. Also because I work here at the Walmart. So like I see people constantly like not wearing masks, saying like it's their right, like they don't have to wear a mask in the store, and people like wearing like their Confederate flags like on their shirts, their hats, like their MAGA hats too, like
Mhm.
and like they just
Yeah,
they like to taunt, but
I think you get that wherever you're going to go in today's world. I remember going to college and doing protests and being a part of some of the protests during Indigenous Day. And in Kansas, it was often kind of hard sometimes as a student, and you had to kind of work your way through that. So I'm glad you're still participating in the demonstrations that you guys have to do.
Mhm.
And how about on campus? Is it? I mean, there's a large Native population on campus?
I don't remember the percentage, but I know it's around 30% of the total population that's
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Native
damn.
or that defines it as Native. I feel like it's a lot friendlier to be on campus, and I honestly don't like to leave campus because of everything that's like been happening.
Right. I see there's on the website there's like 188 tribes and Alaska Natives that are on campus. And another real quick fact was there was 32% first generation students
There's a lot.
and 52% students of color. So that's a pretty big number.
Yeah, that's rare.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like the atmosphere here, it's I haven't experienced anything like this because I went to Worcester in Reno. It like it wasn't common to see somebody else who was Native, and if you did, like it was like you create like that friendship easily. But like I had like a lot of Hispanic friends, like people of color, but like Worcester, like the atmosphere there was different than here because like here there's a bunch of natives here, like they know the struggle that you've been through, they know like like they understand your culture even though you're not from the same tribe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's nice because, I mean, yeah, we've heard that from a lot of our students who we interviewed so far who go to tribal schools. It's like if you like compare it to like a Worcester or like a even just like a Pyramid Lake High School, anything that's just like one tribe, it's usually like the same culture. So you have everyone sort of speaking the same languages, the same humor, same just like it's like how they talk. But like when you go to schools with different natives, you really see the different, just like how the same we are, but also how different we are at the same time. At the same time, I think that's what's really cool. Like,
Yeah.
I think that's like what's similar with like Haskell, Fort Lewis, Sippy. It's because there's so many natives coming from all over to go to those schools, so you get to experience like where they're coming from. Like they bring their story with them, and I think that's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
And so the next question I have is, so native students often feel like you talked about how like at Worcester you felt isolated. So I know you maybe at some points have felt that way in Durango, but is there a certain place on campus for students to sort of get rid of that isolation, or where is there like a group or anything like that on campus where you just like feel like at home or comfortable and not as isolated?
Yeah. It's called the Native American Center, and I've worked there since my second semester here at the fort. So it's a Native American Center, and we have like a lot of Native based clubs too, and like even though like how would I put it? Okay, so they're called registered student organizations, or we just shorten it and say RSOs. Like it goes through the leadership center, but we have to have advisors, like faculty advisors, and they're usually either like professors or the Native American staff, and like we basically like we all know each other, like, and if we don't, like we at least like acknowledge each other.
Mm-hmm.
And like most of us are part of the same clubs, so like it's easy to like get to know like a lot of people that are Native.
That's I heard you talk about the Native American Center. What is that like?
Okay, so right now it's weird because they're only limiting 8 people inside right now. But they
So
offer,
like originally, what was it like before COVID?
Yeah. So they offer like a bunch of services. They offer like faxing. One of the administrative assistants, like if you go to her, like she's the best person ever, like, and she's the one that like knows everything about the Native American Center. She's been there for years, and she can even notarize your letters if like you need anything notarized. She's really knowledgeable about like the whole system of Fort Lewis. And then there's a computer lab. There's a community kitchen for anybody to use, but it's not open right now. There's tables in there where you can go and do your homework, or you can just sit and talk with people. There's usually couches in there, but they took them out because of COVID. Yeah, you can print, fax any documents you need. They have a book loan program, so like you don't have to go to the bookstore and buy the books or rent them. If the Native American Center has them, then usually it's a first come first serve. So they usually start the book loan program at the beginning of the semester. So I try and utilize that too, so I don't have to buy my books.
I don't know about you, Avery, but every time we do these presentations and hear about all these different schools, there's just so much that these schools are offering. This is great. Thank you, Raquel. That's awesome.
Yeah, every school has something different too. I think that's the cool thing about it.
Mm-hmm.
So Raquel, I know you mentioned earlier, you talked about like racism and stuff like that in Durango, but so what was your biggest challenge so far in school, and how did you overcome it?
That's a good question. I would say trying to balance like my academics with trying to work too. Like the library, it's open. I forget what time till it's open, but you can utilize the classrooms in the basement of the library, and that's where me and my friends usually went to go and do our homework. Like it didn't really matter what time we stayed there. But like there's a projector where we just like play our music or play a movie as like background noise and like just bust out our homework over there. It's just basically time management for me.
Right.
Like the classes, like in the work, it's not hard. It's just finding the time to do it.
Right. So that I think that's like we hear a lot about that too from different students, like time management and making sure that there's a balance between academics and social life and actually having fun as well and having the good college experience.
And I know Dina just mentioned it too, but she was talking about fun. So I know Durango it's like a really small town compared to, like you said, like Reno or just like other universities that are in like cities and stuff like that. But what fun things are there to do in Durango for those who don't know?
So there's a lot of places. There's a lot of hiking trails. Like people run up the hill to come up to Fort Lewis. They bike. This is like a major biking town. So like almost everybody you see like would have a bike. And then like if we want to like go shop or somewhere, we'd go to Farmington. It's like an hour away. Yeah, it's just mainly like there's a lot of outdoor things you can do here. And then there's, what is it called? Oh, Purgatory. It's like a skiing resort. it's north of here. Like when it's open, like that, a lot of people go over there to go ski, snowboard. It's really beautiful going up there too when it's like when the leaves are turning, like right now. It's the best.
Awesome. So we're hearing a lot of really awesome places to kind of hang out in the Durango area. What are some good places to eat? On campus or near campus? And what's your favorite?
I would say going off campus to eat. Like here, like the food's great and all, but like it's repetitive and like you get tired of it.
Just regular college food. So what's a great place to eat at in town?
I like going to Machos. It's like a, how would I put it, Hispanic restaurant. Like like you can go and sit down. They have like a patio that you can go eat outside. Like I haven't tried the full menu, but it's really good.
They have like macho burritos.
It's yeah, I don't remember what it was called, but they have like macho fries. Like they'll give you like a plate of fries and like you can add like whatever topping you want on it. That's my favorite too.
Yeah, it sounds real macho. And I know we always like share laughs in these episodes, but so what is your funniest memory you had in college? Because I know like we often like talk about like how serious college is, or we talk about like how it's like always like work and like doing homework every night, staying up to like 1 o'clock, but like we don't really talk about like the cool memories we do have in college. So like what is one of the best memories or funniest memories you've had in college so far?
So my funniest memory, so I think I was a freshman. Yeah, I was a freshman. We went down to eat at China Cafe. It's a little, yeah, it's basically the name. We got done eating and we couldn't find an Uber or anybody to give us a ride up here, so we walked all the way up here. And
how far was it?
We had to walk from Maine all the way up to campus. I don't know how far that is, but we went up the front hill and like we were going up the hill and it's kind of steep and like we were like huffing and puffing because we literally just got done eating and we're like, oh my god,
Give it a side ache.
yeah.
Yeah.
We like my friend, she was looking for an Uber, but there weren't any available, and by the time like one was available, we were already up to campus. So we're like, oh
man. Yeah, no, Ubers. I know, like, especially because I know it's a small city, so it's probably not that many, but I know like one time I think I had to get a ride to the airport like at 3 in the morning or 4 in the morning. And then just so I don't know if everyone was getting Ubers or what, but like the Uber, like there was no Ubers out and I had to just like almost like hitchhiking to the airport. But yeah, no, I know the struggle of like Ubers and stuff like that and not having a car.
Dude, those were tough times, but I have a car.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tough times. Tough fun times. So what advice would what advice would you give to, that's okay.
Yeah.
What advice would you give to an Indigenous student who is going to college, whether it's, Fort Lewis or any college period?
I would say like don't limit yourself to how far you want to go. Like I was trying to go like clear across the country. And yeah.
But you still can. You have your master's.
Yeah, I still can. Yeah. Yeah, don't limit yourself to how far you want to go. Like if you like the program that you want to go into and if you're interested in it, don't hold back. Like I had other opportunities and like other, how would you put it? I had athletic scholarships, but they were in like Michigan, Virginia, and I didn't take any of them. It was for softball, but I didn't take any of them because I found Fort Lewis and didn't want to pay all that money.
Oh, yeah, yeah. That's really good
So,
advice.
yeah, that really is. I was I have a colleague at the Department of Ed, and her son went to Fort Lewis, and he said he wishes he would have received the information about, because I guess there's actual classes, and you said you were in Indigenous Studies programs that he had to take. There were requirements for him to graduate, and he really thought that that would have been something for us to have something in place in Nevada, where people would have to learn about the indigenous people, where they're from.
Yeah, so before we can actually start orientation, we have to pass I forget what it was called, but it's like a little like mini pre-course of the college, and you have to complete it and get an 80% or better, otherwise you can't attend orientation. And
oh wow,
it's like basically like a crash course of the history of the college and like some like academic dates that you need to know.
Wow, that's a first.
Yeah, that's really... a first. I was just thinking that too. I was just like, that's actually really smart, because in that test you can be like, oh, where's this resource? Whose land is this on? Like, yeah, that's really cool. And we learn we learn from the students too. Like me and Dina, like we think about this stuff and try and implement it like at other places too. So it's always cool to like learn how colleges like treat Native students or how they go about just like running their institution at school.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so I guess, no, you're good. You're good.
Oh, so, like after I applied to Fort Lewis, I was accepted in like the October of my senior year, and I saw they were offering this weekend called Preview Weekend. Like you can come in and like look at the campus, and like it's basically like a mini orientation. So I did that, and I fell in love with the campus. So I was like, Mom, I'm going here. And yeah, and they give tours here too. And like little groups that come in, like they'll do like little mini scavenger hunts, and like they'll give them like a piece of paper, and they have to go to like these different locations, and they have to ask people like the question. And then I know like the Native American Center gets a lot of those. And yeah, it's like they let you run like all over campus, and you got to figure out the questions, and then you turn them in. It's really cool.
Wow, that sounds fun.
Yeah,
I wish COVID would go away. We can go down to Fort Lewis.
Bring the couches back. Yeah. Because that's how it is like at UNR too right now. They basically took out like all the couches in the diversity center. So there's like 3 chairs where like a huge couches used to be. So it's different. It throws it off too. Because I mean, the couches, that's like the spot no matter where you are, because people sleep on couches.
We would
yeah.
Yep.
From
homework, just go lay on the couch. We like socialize. That's where I met a bunch of my friends too, through the Native American Center.
Cool. And where's that out on campus for students who maybe want to know where it's at?
It's in the student union building. It's like on the lower level, so it's like the layout, like, so in order to go into like the very front doors of the student union, you have to go up the hill a little. Like when I came here for Preview Weekend, I was so confused. Like we went through there's like the top level is the ballroom and like other little conference rooms. The second floor is where the dining hall would be. We call it Animus Perks. Is like a little cafe kind of, where you can just go like buy like small snacks and baked goods. And like there's an information desk, there's KDUR, it's the radio station, and then there's other conference rooms, and on the bottom floor, that's where the Native American Center is, along with the bookstore and El Centro de Muchos Colores. It's like another, how would you say? It's like another program kind of where students like who are Hispanic or want to know anything like about the Latina community or Latinx community, they would go there. And then the mail room is on the 3rd floor too. Like it's kind of hard to like navigate yourself if you don't know like where you're going.
Yeah. And people don't even realize, like, even like little colleges, that's tough.
Yeah, like TMCC, I was always confused where I was going.
Me too.
Yeah, like little colleges, it's honestly like, that's why I guess like one tip I have real quick for students out there, like find a map. Like find like the maps and use that map, find the map on your phone. Because I can tell you, like, actually, I'm pretty sure I've walked into another classroom at least twice and like sat there for like 5 minutes through the class and then realized like, oh, like I'm in the wrong class. But that brings us to our next question. So what is the thing you're most thankful for about your college experience that you've had so far?
I would say I'm thankful for my friends and like the Native American Center because like they helped me find my identity as an Indigenous woman. Like before I came here, I was like, I'm not traditional, so like I didn't really know much about like my culture. And like once I like started learning like that they like, since they have like the Navajos here, like they like their culture is still living, and like they inspired me to want to learn more about my culture. So like I'm trying to learn the language. Like I'm in this little Paiute group on Facebook. Like I just like when I'm bored or anything, I just go sit there and look through all the pictures, and like people post stuff in Paiute, and like people will be answering it, and I'm just like, what are they saying?
Yeah, like talking full Paiute.
Yeah,
that's cool.
I think that's what happened with me when I went to Haskell. Because you're who you are, you're native person, and then all of a sudden there's like this big world that opens, and all these different tribes are, practicing their cultures and traditions, and they're just living, and it makes you want to learn about where you come from.
And that's like, it's nice learning about other tribes too. Like I know a lot of like about other tribes like that are like, in the Four Corners area here, and like my roommates, they're Navajo. Like I learned a lot from them, and then like I know like some stuff about my culture, and then like we try and like see like what's different, and like I know like some of the numbers. I know like basic phrases in Paiute, so like we'll like say like words in our language to each other. Like it's really cool like to hear about other tribes and like their culture.
Yeah,
that's a benefit of going to schools like where there's a lot of natives. I think one of the cool things like I've learned is that like even though like our cultures are all like different in a way, like you said, like they have different stuff than we do, or like Paiutes do, or like Washos, or just any other tribe, but you sort of learn how like they're all different but interconnected too. I think that's what's really cool. Like we have like the same like ways, we have the same like mindsets that we just go about our lives like as Native people instead of just like as like a certain tribe. And I think that's what's really cool.
Right.
And now we're done with our main question section. So now we'll move on to our Facebook and YouTube questions. So if there's anybody out there who has questions on Facebook, feel free to let one go real quick, and then we can ask it to Raquel. And so our first question is from Sandra. So she said, what are a couple things your college experience taught you that you can share with others?
Like being here, it taught me to be independent, because like when I'm in Nevada, like I was living with my mom, like my mom did everything for me, and like I learned stuff from her, but like I didn't actually use it until I came here. And then I came here, I was like, wow, like I really have to do everything on my own. Like there's nobody here with me.
Yeah, that's a long way too, because it's hard. Yeah, I mean, because you have to learn how to cook. like when you're not on the meal plan, I guess you have to learn how to cook, you have to learn how to eat healthy, you have to like basically be like be an adult. Like when you're almost like, because honestly, some like college kids, like they're almost kids in a way. So like you like you have like like young adults like basically like living like full like adult life and managing school and work at the same time. So that's why I applaud all college students, because they go through all that stuff. And even just like
That's a lot
learning,
of
like
work.
yeah, learning is one aspect of college, honestly. But like it's everything else like you also learn too. So like working, and then like you said, like yeah, like working while going to school, managing your time, just like even like exploring your culture, like as natives, especially like non-traditional natives. Like that was me growing up too. And so I'm just now sort of learning my culture and my language right now. But I mean, yeah, I think that's really a benefit of college, is that I feel like you get used to learning. And so you always like seek out to learn, and you seek out just like almost like working hard, like just trying to get that A, but with like everything you do.
Yeah, it's never too late to learn anything too. Like
Yeah, that's why I always tell people too. But
That's
cool,
a
yeah.
good one, Sandra.
Sandra.
To buy your own TV.
Here.
But yeah, thank you, Raquel, for joining us tonight. I learned a lot about Fort Lewis that I did not even know. And now it's one of my other new colleges that I'm going to tell students about, tell them to reach out to, especially because of the tuition waiver. And it sounds like it's a really good just campus atmosphere. But we have one more Facebook question real quick, and it's from Dana Thomas. It says, what kept you motivated to keep continuing each year?
Hi, Auntie. But I would say, like, just to continue, like, because once I came here, like, I learned, like, I like to be independent. Like, I'd go on the bus by myself, like everything I would do on myself. So, like, when I'm home, like, a lot of things are done for me, and I was like, oh, I don't like that feeling anymore.
Yeah.
And, like, now, like, I know, like, there's other people, like, other students in Nevada that are looking at Fort Lewis. So I'm like, wow, like, there's people, like, who are actually, like, wanting to follow in my footsteps. So I'm like, I can't give up. Like, I think it was after my sophomore year, I just wanted to go home and go to TMCC, but I was like, no, I'm like halfway done. Like, what's another 2 years?
Goes by so fast.
Now look at, you're there. You only have one semester left, right?
Yeah, after the next month, I have one more semester.
Dang. And what are your plans for after? Like, do you have a certain career or path you want to like take, or what's some stuff that you would like to do in the future?
So I was thinking of like taking like maybe like the semester off until applying to get my master's in forensic science. I've been looking at schools, but I haven't really set in stone like which school I wanted to go to. So like after I graduate, I'm just gonna move back home, and like I work at Walmart here. I transferred from the Walmart in Reno, that's like right next to the RSIC land. Like I started working there in April after I went home because of COVID. And yeah, I transferred here, and like before I left, I was talking with one of the store managers. He said like, once I'm done here with school, I can just transfer back to Nevada and I'd have my position back again. So like, I guess do that for a little bit longer, get more financially stable, and then apply.
Yeah, and your master's program will go by like that.
Yeah.
So make sure you apply for
back to back.
But let's get it all over with. Don't stop.
Yeah. Or you could just stay in school your whole life like me.
Avery.
Yeah. Just rack up the money and then just and you will never have to pay back loans if you're in school forever. So yeah, but yeah, thank you.
Enough. Oh,
Hmm.
also apply for scholarships. Like right now,
Oh,
like
yeah.
I don't have to pay for anything here, just the food that I want to eat. Like I have
Hmm.
the RSIC higher ed scholarship, so and I applied
Hmm.
for other ones, and but the RSIC scholarship is all that I really need because it basically pays for everything. So
Hmm.
like I'm set. Like I don't have a bill here. Like I've never had a bill here.
That's cool.
So apply for
Yeah, scholarships.
scholarships.
Shout out to scholarships.
Yeah, these are really, I mean, I think this is a really rich conversation for the students who are watching this video, who will be looking at colleges to see where they want to go, what barriers that you come upon, and even some of the successes, and some of your like examples of, being a college student is so important because they'll see that and they'll like, wow, she can do it in 4 years. I can do it too. So yeah,
Yep.
we're really proud of you. And I see so many people posting and they're happy to see you and they're excited that you're successful.
It's
Yeah,
hard,
well,
but it's gonna be worth it in the end.
Oh yeah.
yeah. And I think I posted this a while back on our page, but it was a video. It was Alyssa Songboy. She talked about it, but she said, so for every like one student that's in college, so like say for yourself, Raquel, so like say for just for you being in college, you are affecting like 30 other people who are thinking about going to school. So like 30 other Native students. So I think that's super cool that, I mean, and if we increase that number too, just think more Natives, that's like 30 more people for all those people, and it all drags on too.
Yeah, like I can see that effect because I have a cousin here, she goes here, and then I have another
Yeah.
friend, like it's her first year here too. And then I have another cousin who she came here last year, but I don't know if she attends here still or not, but I can see that. Like I didn't
Yeah.
really realize it until now, but
Yeah,
I
no,
can see that.
it's amazing just being at college. You're inspiring people, honestly. But yeah, thank you for joining us tonight, Raquel. I loved all your stuff that you told me about Fort Lewis that I didn't know. I loved your advice that you gave, and yeah, thank you. Like we just said, like yeah, thank you for just being in school. Honestly, like that's all we need. And it's exciting that you're a senior. You're gonna graduate. You have plans for grad school, and that's really cool. So yeah, I wish you the best in the future. I wish graduation.
You go, girl.
Yeah. Yeah, but yeah, thank you for joining us tonight, and I hope you have a good rest of your night.
Thank you guys for having me.
Well, thank
I
you,
was
Raquel.
shocked when I saw
Yeah.
Avery's message. I was like, oh my god, like people actually like watch me and like know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
They paid attention to me.
No, well, you're going to be awesome. You're going to be amazing. And you are. And that's why you're on our show. So thank you.
Thank you.
Yep. Thanks, Raquel. Cool. Thank you, everybody, for joining on tonight. We had a lot of interaction tonight. We look forward to seeing everybody next week. So next week, we're going to be highlighting Northwest Indian College, which is located in Washington State. And then the week after that, we're going to have Superman. So come back and hear Superman. He's going to talk about, honestly, he's going to talk about some stuff that we never heard. So he's going to talk about just like if you're a Native student or Native youth who's interested in music in the future, he's going to talk about that. And he's going to talk about his struggles, his journey. And yeah, feel free to tune in 2 weeks for that on November 19th. And then, like I said, the next week on Thursday, we're having Northwest Indian College. So yeah, thank you. Share our page, like our page, go to our YouTube page. We have all our past videos. We've highlighted more than almost a dozen colleges already, maybe like 8. And then we've also had a few professionals who are in the field, like Superman. So we've had Jarrett Work, Savannah Romero. But yeah, feel free to go back and look at our videos, share them with youth who may be interested in these different colleges that we've had. But yeah, thank you for coming tonight. And then yeah, I'll see you next week.
Yeah, you guys, like Avery said, share this information with the youth. And, a lot of times our youth aren't provided this information. So we have so many awesome upcoming people who are native, who are professional, who are awesome, who are amazing. So share this information to all your students out there. And Fort Lewis is a great college to look into if your students are excited. So thank you for joining us this evening.
Cool.
Good night.
Have a good weekend, everybody.